Have you ever had one of those moments where you sit down and seriously tell yourself, enough is enough. I'm going to change my life. You feel motivated, clear, focused, ready, you make a plan. You imagine the future version of yourself, disciplined, successful, in control, and for a few hours, maybe even a few days, feels like you're finally becoming that person. But then something happens. You wake up late. You skip one task. You tell yourself, I'll do it later, and later never comes. Slowly, everything starts slipping. The routine breaks, the energy disappears, and before you realize it, you're back in the same cycle. Scrolling, delaying, avoiding. And the worst part isn't even the failure, it's the feeling that comes after. That quiet voice in your head saying, you did it again. That weight in your chest. Guilt, frustration, disappointment. Because deep down you know something painful. You're capable of more. You just can't seem to prove it to yourself. If that feels familiar, you're not alone. I lived in that cycle for a long time. I had goals, big ones. I wanted to improve my life, build something meaningful, become disciplined. But every time I tried, I would start strong and then fall apart. Simple things felt hard. Going to the gym felt like a burden. Studying felt exhausting. Even working on my own dreams felt like pressure. And I kept asking myself, why is this so difficult? Was I lazy? Was I just not strong enough? But the truth is, it had nothing to do with laziness, and everything to do with how my brain works. Here's what I didn't understand back then. Your brain is designed to protect you, not to make you successful. It avoids discomfort. It seeks safety. It chooses what feels easy in the moment. So when you suddenly decide to change your entire life, your brain doesn't get excited. It gets overwhelmed. Think about it. One day you're doing the bare minimum, and the next day, you expect yourself to wake up early, work for hours, hit the gym, eat clean, stay focused. That's a massive shift, and your brain reacts the only way it knows how, by resisting. It tells you, this is too much. Let's do it later. Just rest today. And without even realizing it, you listen. This creates a constant internal battle. Your logical mind says, do the work. Your emotional mind says, avoid the discomfort. And most of the time, emotion wins. That's why motivation doesn't last. That's why discipline feels impossible. Not because you're weak, but because you're trying to force change in a way your brain rejects. But once you understand this, everything starts to shift, because the solution isn't to push harder. It's to make things easier, much easier. This is where most people get it wrong. They believe success comes from intensity, from going all in, from doing more. But real, lasting change comes from something much simpler: reducing resistance. If something feels hard, you avoid it. If something feels easy, you do it. So instead of asking, how can I do more? Ask yourself, how can I make this easier? Let's say you want to start working out. Don't aim for a full hour. Start with 5 minutes, yes. Just 5, because 5 minutes feels manageable. Doesn't trigger resistance. And once you start, you often end up doing more anyway, but even if you don't, you still win because you showed up. And that's what matters most. Or maybe you want to study. Don't aim for 2 hours. Open your book for just 10 minutes. No pressure. No expectations, just start. Because starting is the hardest part. And when you make starting easy, you remove the biggest obstacle. This is how you trick your brain. You lower the barrier so much that it stops fighting you. And once you take action, something powerful happens. You build momentum. One small action leads to another. One small win leads to confidence. And this is where everything begins to change. There's a concept called the winner effect. It means that every time you succeed, even in something small, your brain rewards you. It builds confidence. It strengthens the habit. It makes it easier to repeat the behavior. But the opposite is also true. Every time you fail, you reinforce the belief that you can't do it, and that belief becomes your reality. That's why starting small is so powerful, because it guarantees wins, and those wins start to reshape how you see yourself. You go from thinking, I'm inconsistent, to, I'm someone who shows up, and that identity shift changes everything. Think of it like leveling up in a game. You don't start at the final boss. You start at level 1. You learn. You improve. You get stronger. And only then, are you ready for the harder levels? But in real life, we try to skip all of that. We expect ourselves to perform at a high level, without building the foundation first. And when we fail, we blame ourselves, instead of realizing we just started at the wrong level. So if you're stuck right now, if you keep failing and starting over, don't try to do more, do less. Lower the difficulty, make it so easy that failing feels impossible. Because success isn't about big moments, it's about small actions, repeated daily, and over time. Those small actions grow. They compound, they turn into habits, they turn into discipline, they turn into results. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop trying to change everything overnight, and start where you are. Take the smallest step possible. Win today, then do it again tomorrow. Because if you can win small, you can win big. It just takes time, and one day, you'll look back and realize the things that once felt impossible are now part of who you are.